Are you tired of those pesky low emission zone fines that seem to pop out of nowhere when you're driving through the city? If so, buckle up, because I want to try and save you some cash in penalties in case you get caught out. Low emission zones, also known as clean air zones, are specific parts of a city that impose restrictions on certain vehicles in an effort to reduce pollution and promote eco-friendly driving habits. These zones don't typically impact private vehicle owners, but for commercial drivers, these LEZ fees are all too familiar. However, there is a silver lining here. If you're driving an electric or hybrid vehicle, you're completely exempt from these fees. So what exactly are these low emission zones? Well, imagine a city area where certain vehicles need to pay a fee to enter. That's essentially what an LEZ is. Now, these zones are springing up across the UK, with the London LEZ and ultra low emission zone, that's a ULEZ, being used as some prime examples. But what if you don't pay this fee? Well, just like a parking ticket, if you don't follow the rules, you can expect to receive an LEZ penalty charge. For instance, if you're driving a diesel-powered van in an LEZ and fail to pay the necessary fee, you could find yourself slapped with a hefty fine. And the penalties can get steep, especially for vehicles over 1.205 tonnes. In the London LEZ, this could set you back a whopping £1,000, which can be halved to £500 if you settle within 14 days. You might be wondering, how can you end up with an LEZ penalty? Some common reasons include driving a vehicle that doesn't meet emission standards without paying the fee, failing to register your vehicle with the LEZ authority, or providing incorrect information when paying the charge. It can get complicated, which is why many drivers opt to avoid LEZs altogether. So you've received an LEZ penalty charge. What do you do next? Well, paying your LEZ fine is straightforward. You can either pay online using a credit or debit card, or use a special mobile app, or mail a cheque to the low emission zone in Darlington. Remember, it's a one-time payment and instalments are not an option. Can you challenge an LEZ penalty? The short answer is yes, but it's rarely successful unless you can prove that you didn't commit the offence. For example, you might be able to argue mistaken identity, showing that your vehicle wasn't in the LEZ when the offence occurred. Be warned though, challenging can be risky. If your appeal fails, you could lose a chance to take advantage of the 50% early payment discount. Now, let's take a quick detour to Birmingham, where you might have seen the Birmingham Clean Air Zone, another example of a city tackling air pollution head-on. The zone, which was introduced in June 2021, operates 24/7 and it's here to stay. If a non-compliant vehicle enters this zone, the owner must pay the Birmingham Clean Air Zone charge. But what's the idea behind this charge? It's simple. The goal is to discourage drivers with polluting vehicles from entering the city, nudging them to consider alternatives like public transport, cycling, or even switching to an eco-friendly vehicle next time they're in the market for a new car. So how much will it set you back? If you're driving a private vehicle that's restricted, you'll be looking at a daily fee of £8. Heavier vehicles, on the other hand, could face a whopping £50 charge per day. But don't forget, again, if you've got a hybrid or electric car, then you could be exempt. You can check using the UK Government Vehicle Checker Service. Be aware though, the daily fee runs from midnight to midnight, not for 24 hours consecutive. So if you drive into the zone at 11:30 p.m. and then you leave at 1:30 a.m, then you'll be on the hook for 2 daily fees, costing you £16. Keep this in mind as you navigate the Birmingham Clear Air Zone and plan your trips wisely to avoid unnecessary charges. Now you know everything you need to know. Before you head out on your next city drive, make sure that you know the rules. Check your vehicle's emission standards and avoid any unnecessary LEZ penalties. Keep your eye out for those signs. If you've driven through a zone and you're wondering if you have a good chance of appealing, you may want some professional advice from an online solicitor like JustAnswer. They're offering an online trial for £5 and you can ask as many questions in the chat as you like. I'll leave a link for you just below this video.